Owing $25 billion, Japan Airlines files for bankruptcy protection. And Citigroup's loss in the fourth quarter narrows while its shares rise. Hello, welcome back. Minister of Trade and Industry Mohammed Rashid announced that economic relations between Egypt and Turkey will enter a new stage in the coming period. During a meeting held between him and his Turkish counterpart, Rashid said they will cancel trade tariff and open branches for the Turkish banks in Egypt and vice versa. On his part, the Turkish Minister of Trade and Industry noted that there is a great opportunity to increase economic cooperation and investment between both countries. Rashid added that President Mubarak's visit to Turkey last December has greatly enhanced the economic and commercial relations between both countries. Egypt's stock market rose 1.6% on Tuesday amid huge operations. The most important activity of the day was the sale of EFG Hermes stake in the Bank Audi. The details in the following report.
Egypt's stock market rebounded on Tuesday amid huge purchasing operations on leading stocks. The EGX 30, which measures the performance of the 30 leading stocks within the market, rose 1.6% to close the session at 6,833 points. Bucking the trend, the EGX 70 rose 0.71% to end the session at 736 points, while the more expanded EGX 100 slightly rose 0.9% at 1,191 points. Dealings within the session reached more than £2.7 billion. The most important activity today was EFG Hermes' sale of its share in Bank Audi with an amount exceeding £5 billion. The most leading stocks in today's sessions were Orascom Telecom, Talat Mustafa and CIB. Meanwhile, Maged Shawqi, the chairman of the Egyptian Stock Exchange, said on Monday that the stock exchange abides by all regulations in the decisions it takes. This also applies to the decision of suspending 29 companies last October as they lack transparency.
Hello, welcome back. For more, I am joined here in the studio by financial analyst Yasser Darwish. Thank you very much for joining us. Tell us a bit more about the recent fluctuations and the volatility that we're seeing in the Egyptian stock market.
Well, actually, the fluctuation is extension of the previous time fluctuations that we have seen over the last year and the end of the last year.
Yeah.
However, this is expected, in my opinion, at the beginning of any large rallies, if we can say. So I think the existing fluctuation is a result of exiting of all the investors that came at the beginning of the rally and the people who are come into the market with a new and fresh money. So this is totally expected, and I don't think this is not healthy. It's very healthy. And,
Okay.
Yeah.
So what factors would you say one needs to look out for at the moment?
Well, first of all, I need to come to the research and reports that has been written about Egypt in the last quarter of last year and the first quarter of this year from all the investment bankers in UK and US. All of them see the Egyptian and Saudi market actually as a safe harbor in the whole region,
Right.
considering the demography of the two countries and the growth that is coming from the internal or local demand. So I think the main factor that is driving the Egyptian market now is that expected growth that coming from the local demand, and this local demand, in my opinion, is sustained and it will keep grow more and more.
Okay.
Comparing to the whole market that's surrounding us, I'm talking here about the GCC market in particular, most of these countries are small. They don't have that internal demand that drive the market.
So in this case, you're particularly optimistic about the Egyptian.
To be honest with you, I'm really optimistic, and I'm really seeing the market has still huge room to go up.
Okay. How do global markets affect the Egyptian stock market? It seems that they always look to the Dow Jones, to the FTSE for some sort of sign on what to do.
Okay.
Is it exaggerated or is it justified?
It's too exaggerated, to be honest with you. Let's explain why we have this correlation, if we can say. This correlation started in the middle of the last year. As a result of the financial turmoil that we have got after Lehman Brothers collapse and after the Bear Stearns collapse. And people start, not people, but what actually happened is that we have deleveraging from all international investment bankers in all over the world. At that time, we have all markets that move together to the downside. After a while, and after 6 months of melting down on the whole market, every market starts to move by its internal factors. I mean here growth in demand and supply.
Right.
So I believe this correlation has been ended maybe by the end of the last quarter of year 2009, and we start to see each market is moving alone. So people now who is trying to use the US market or UK market movement to expect what will happen in local market, I believe this relation is not existing anymore.
Okay, so definitely a word of caution there. On a final note, the impact of the recent dispute between OT and FT, how did that affect investors, do you think, in Egypt?
It's a dilemma. So, but I think, this is my personal opinion, to be honest with you. If Rascom Telecom goes to France Telecom in France and asks them to sell a stake in France Telecom in France, they will refuse and they will have a lot of trouble. So we have the same situation here. And I cannot imagine local company that is listed and biggest company listed in the local market don't have an operation of the company of listing and the company of, and a country of origination, which is Egypt. How is this affecting people? I think people looking for we have two factors here, or two companies that are affecting by what's happening is Rascom Telecom and Mobinil.
Right.
For Rascom Telecom, this is positive. I believe they will keep their one of the biggest operator, and they will stay with the company of origination. But for Mobinil investor, I believe this is also positive, but in the medium term, because I believe France Telecom, at the end of the day, to take the stake, it has to increase the price significantly.
Okay. We'll definitely keep an eye out for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Yasser Darwish, financial analyst, for your insight there. Ladies and gentlemen, now coming up is a report on the issue of Japan Airlines Corporation filing for bankruptcy. We have the story.
Japan Airlines filed for bankruptcy